Hello, welcome to Easy Digital Learning with me, Listia. Today's subject is English for Culinary. In this lesson, we're going to talk about culinary vocabulary. But before we get to this action to learn about some words that you will use while you are cooking, let's spend a minute to talk about these two words. First is a chef. Chef is a person who studied cooking in a culinary school and has worked in many restaurants and has practiced for a long time in his or her cooking skill. And he or she is usually the boss of a kitchen in a restaurant somewhere. And the second one is a cook. Cook is a person who is just starting to cook or somebody who just makes food at home. Anybody can be a cook. So could be noun, the person, or to cook as a verb, to prepare dishes. Now let's get started. So these following verbs will frequently appear when you are reading cooking instruction and recipes. The first one is add. Add is to put ingredients together or to put one ingredient with the others. For the example is add more salt to the dish if necessary. Bake is to cook in an oven using heat and without extra fat, oil, or liquid. Usually we use this term for explaining when we cook a pastry bakery item. For the example is, it smells good in the kitchen because I'm baking a cake. Beat is to stir usually eggs, cream, butter, quickly and continually to make a smooth or frothy mixture. For the example, beat the cream until it starts to thicken, or beat the eggs before we make an omelette. Blend is to mix two or more substances so they combine together. Often done in an appliance called a blender, which has quickly rotating blades. For the example, you can blend fruit to make your own smoothie. Boil is to heat water or another liquid until little bubbles form. And when we cook something in a boiling water or liquid, we also call boil. For the example, boil the potatoes until they are cooked. Break is to separate into smaller parts by force. For the example, break the eggs into a glass bowl. Carve is to cut meat into slices. For the example, who is going to carve the Thanksgiving turkey? Chop is to cut into small pieces, generally used with vegetables. For example, chop the spring onion, then add them into the dish. Combine is to put two or more things together. For example, to make pancake batter, please combine flour, eggs, and milk in a stainless bowl. Cook is to prepare food by heating it so that it is not raw and can be eaten. For example, cook the chicken until there are no pink parts. Crush is to cause to separate or flatten by extreme force, often used with garlic. Drain is to remove excess liquid from food after washing or cooking it. For the example is drain the water from the pot of spaghetti or drain the water from the vegetable. Fry is to cook by putting the food into extremely hot oil. I fried some bacon and eggs for breakfast. Grate is to divide into small parts by rubbing on a serrated surface, usually used with cheese. For the example, grate a large carrot and add it to the salad. Grease is to coat with oil or butter. For example, make sure you grease the pan before putting the mix, otherwise the cake will stick to the sides. Grill is heating the food under a grill in a cooker which radiates heat downwards. Knead is to press and stretch dough with your hands, usually used when making bread. For the example, knead the dough for the pizza base. Measure is to obtain an exact quantity or amount of an ingredient. For the example, measure exactly half a teaspoon of curry. Melt is to make something become liquid through heating. For the example, melt the butter before adding it to the mix, or melt the chocolate in a bain-marie. Mince is to grind food, normally meat, into small pieces. A machine is often used to do this. Peel is to remove the skin or outer layer from fruit or vegetable. For the example, peel the potatoes before boiling them. Pour is to transfer liquid from one container to another. For example, pour the chocolate sauce over the pears. Roast is to cook, usually meat and vegetables, in the oven or over a fire. For example, we are going to roast the chicken and vegetable. Saute is to quick fry food by placing it in a hot oil in a frying pan. Usually we just need a little amount of oil to do this. Saute is actually not English word, but it's come from French word. Scramble is to make the white and yellow part of the egg together while cooking them in a pan. For the example, scramble the eggs in a frying pan. Sift is to put a fine substance through a sieve so as to remove lumps or large particles. For example, sift the flour into a large bowl. Slice is to cut into thin or wide portions that are of similar size. For example, slice the tomatoes and add them to the salad. Sprinkle is to cover an object or surface with small drops or particles of a substance. For example, sprinkle icing sugar over the cake. Squeeze is to extract a liquid or soft substance from something by compressing it firmly. For example, squeeze the juice from 3 lemons. Steam is to cook by placing the food above boiling water. Steam is the vapor that comes from the hot water. Stir is to mix liquid ingredients by moving a spoon around in a circular motion. For the example, stir until the sugar has completely dissolved. Stir fry is to cook small pieces of food by moving it quickly in a wok or pan with hot oil. For the example, I'm going to stir fry this vegetable. Usually this term is used in a Chinese cooking. Whisk is to mix liquid, eggs, etc. into a stiff light mass using a fork or a special tool such as a whisk or a balloon whisk. For example, whisk all the eggs together with the milk. Okay, that's all for this lesson. Thank you for your attention. Stay fun, stay educated, and stay safe at home.